Hi, everybody. Welcome to the free reading live stream for February 2026. Thank you so much. I sure do appreciate it. I say this, I don't know if I say it enough, but you can't be a psychic without people to read. So thank you so much for letting me read you tonight. Now, I always have a hard time. Hang on. I don't use this platform. There we go. I can see the comments. Oh, I'm smarter than I thought. Excellent. Hi, everybody. So if you have followed the live stream before, um, I see my logo is backwards. Must be a way to turn the camera, but I'm not going to even fuss with it because I'll probably mess it up. Like I said, I only use this platform once a month. So hi, everybody. Oh, Jordan. Hi. Nice to see you again. Okay. So, if you've been here before, you know that there's a topic that I read every month. And this is really to avoid, um, if you ask questions and then I say the answer in front of everybody, it might be kind of embarrassing, both for you and for me. And I get embarrassed easy. So today's topic, before I tell you, hi everybody, as you're popping in. It's good to see you. Hey Sonia. Hi Susan. It's so fun. Melissa, excellent. Glad you're here if it's your first time, Melissa. So anyway, before I tell you what the topic is, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Hang on. My advanced clairvoyant students, they do healing requests every week, and I'm out of healing requests for them. So I'm going to post a link, and hopefully, if you or somebody you know might need a healing, probably the best way to think about this is like a prayer list at a church. So I'm going to post the link, and the only thing we need is the name of the person who needs a healing and what the healing request is. We don't need any email addresses because we don't send you back any communication. Basically, what the advanced clairvoyant students do is they use everything they've learned to perform the healing. So it's in the background. Like I said, they don't contact you. We don't take your email address, nothing. So you can fill out as many as you want for you or other people. I remember one of the most interesting healing requests that I remember after a while was somebody put heal all the senators in the US Congress, which I thought was good. Okay, so there's that link. And then if you haven't gotten access to our free zone, this is a place where you can find a lot of my content, and you don't have to hunt around the internet for it. You can just access it right here. And now what you're really doing is you're signing up for our email list. So you get all this free stuff, and then we email blast you once a month. Actually, I think twice a month. One is what the specials are, and then this event. I blast it out to everybody so nobody misses it that wants to participate. So 2 a month. You can even get access to the free zone and then unsub from the email list if you don't want to get any emails, and just keep that link, bookmark that link, and you can keep going back. And there's all kinds of free readings, all the podcasts I've been on, all that kind of stuff. And then one more, and then we'll get down to business. If you are so inclined, you can leave a review for my business on Google. And here's the link if you want to leave a review. Okay, now I'm done. All that's done. So let's talk about tonight. So who picks the topics is my healing master, Ankh Yaya. He's really the push behind all the work that I do. I've got a weekly meditation group, and he picks those topics. I do a monthly live workshop for beginners. He picks those topics and also this topic. Hi, everybody. So, tonight we're going to talk about psychic abilities, I think is probably the best way to say it. Um, First, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think psychic abilities are. But when I read you, it could be anything that your higher self wants to say about your psychic abilities. Whenever I do stuff like this, I always like once he tells me what the topic is, I don't know why I do this, but I start thinking, I wonder what I'm going to read. Maybe some people will show me past lives when they were super psychic, or maybe they'll show me a chakra that they're reading with, or I don't know. It could be anything, but it will be something. So, hi, everybody. So, let's talk about psychic abilities. I got my clipboard here, so I write down who I read so I don't double dip. um, so, when you think about the evolution of the Homo sapien, um, there was obviously somewhere back in our ancient line where we didn't speak yet. We hadn't evolved the ability to speak. So you could see that psychic abilities would be really important if you can't talk, right? Um, and so back before we could, there was probably two ways that we used our psychic abilities to communicate. One was just straight up telepathy. And telepathy is in the throat chakra, the fifth chakra, and the throat actually does two types of psychic stuff. I was just telling this to a client. Maybe she's going to pop in as I give her the link. So, telepathy happens with our telepathic channels. And our telepathic channels go almost right where my glasses are, where I think it just rebooted. Sorry if you had a glitch there. So those channels are like transmitters and receivers. Hi, Colleen. Good to see you too. I just see some names pop up. I get distracted. So hi, everybody. um, so those are like really transceivers, is what you call them, if they transmit and receive. So basically, that type of psychic communication that we used to do before we could talk, and we can still do it, is really between things, species that have telepathic channels, right? So other Homo sapiens, all the animals, but not so much plants or crystals or guides and angels. Now, for guides and angels, the throat still does psychically communicate, but it's called clairaudience. So I don't know about any of your experiences with those two types of psychic sensing, but to me, they seem the same. My experience of either talking to my cats with my telepathic channels or talking to Anki Yaya with my throat, it's the same experience inside of Loren. Um, so that was one way that we communicated before we could talk, was just telepathically with each other. And then the other way is still a psychic thing, but it's really more, I guess, an energetic thing. We would cord each other, like from one Homo sapiens chakras to another. One of the two chords that we still do for sure is one, when somebody's teaching and there's a classroom of students, the students will cord their crown chakra into the teacher's crown chakra so that information is flowing right from the teacher's crown into theirs. But you don't have to worry, you're not doing that to me, because I have certain protections up. So even if you're trying to cord my crown, you didn't quite make it. And then another one that's really common is the first chakra cord. And now the first chakra is, of course, about survival, and we're sitting on it, it's down there. So if you're providing food, shelter, or clothing for someone or something like a pet, your first chakra will have a cord to their first chakra, whether these are children or maybe older people who, need help surviving. So those are totally common. Um, we say that chording someone's chakras is really an old way of communication. Okay. So fast forward, and now we're talking, right? We've invented language, but those chakras are still capable of communicating and sensing stuff. So what this is how I say it. I believe our psychic senses is all of the information that we gather that's outside of the five physical senses: seeing, smelling, tasting, hearing, and touching. And you know what's really an interesting fact? Next time you're at a cocktail party and the topic comes up, um, the word nonsense comes from, as soon as we started having a scientific approach to things, that's how the scientists would study stuff with their five physical senses. And if it was something that couldn't be sensed by that, they called it nonsense. As a matter of fact, I believe my grandmother told me this, so I believe it, that I'm a direct descendant of Sir Isaac Newton. Actually, my grandmother's maiden name was Newton. And when I got old enough and started studying, he actually died from lead poisoning because he was tasting lead. He was using his five physical senses. Hi, Savannah. So, and then think about it, like our human experience, right? So, if you followed me for a while, you know I always say this. Say you're washing dishes or you're in the shower. And for me, I also add in sifting cat boxes because I've got three cats. I'm constantly sifting cat boxes. At those times, there's maybe nobody else around. You're not really listening to anything. Well, you are looking at stuff. Maybe you're smelling stuff if you're sifting the cat box. But you're getting information. You might all of a sudden have this random thought about a friend, about a song, about something you did in the past, something you're going to do in the future. Well, where did that come from? Your psychic sensing ability. Yeah. So I think that's everything I'm supposed to say about psychic. Let me ask Anka Yaya. Yeah, that's all I'm supposed to say. So I hope that helps you to try to understand your own personal ability to do psychic sensing, which you do all the time. All the time. So, now all of the chakras can sense information and energy. All of them can. The way I'm trained, we only use the upper three. The lower three chakras, the first chakra is the survival chakra, like we've already talked about, and it's the fraidy cat chakra, right? The second chakra is the emotional chakra, and the third chakra is the competitive chakra. So, again, the way I'm trained, we close those chakras down. We don't want those to sense anything during a reading. We only want to use the upper three. Now, the main thing that does is make us neutral to what we're reading. For example, if I'm reading you and you say, hey, could you scan my body for cancer? Well, if my first chakra is open and sensing, it's going to be afraid because we all think we're going to die of cancer. So now all of a sudden, these upper three chakras, I can't trust them because my first chakra is wide open, right? So I'm not saying that we don't read with all of the chakras. And maybe when I read you guys, maybe your second chakra is most active. We would call that clairsentience, where you can feel what other people are feeling, right? And that's the second and third chakra. So I don't know what's going to happen. So let's get going. Let's get the ball rolling. So I always call it spinning the wheel of fortune. So let me spin the wheel of fortune. Tina MCC 1883. Hi, Tina. Thanks for popping in. Now, like I said, I'm just going to jot your name down, or your whatever that is. You call it your handle. I don't even know if they call it that anymore. Okay, so let me get plugged in. Hang on, let me just, it's quick. Okay, I'm going right to your higher self. Now, there are a lot of different sources for information in a psychic reading. Tonight, I'll be mostly, I think, tapping into your higher self, your soul. But I'm also going to be looking at your chakras because remember, those are the things that are psychic. But anyway, Tina, I got pulled over to your higher self first. So let's see what it says about your psychic ability. And I thought this was going to come up a lot. You've had past lives where it didn't turn out well for you to be visibly psychic. So this is one of the examples I give of that situation. So you were the court astrologer, right? And you told the king, oh, this is the perfect time to go to battle. The stars are aligned, sire. So the troops march off, they lose the battle. What do you think happens to you? Another good example, being burned at the stake. Be amused, right? We've all been there. If you're here, that's probably happened to you. So anyway, that's the first thing your higher self said. So we might think that now, either you don't notice that you're sensing psychic stuff with your chakras, you don't notice it, and if you do, you might discount it. Okay, so anyway, let me go back to the horse's mouth, your higher self, and let's say, okay, your gift is speaking to angels. Now, see, I didn't expect that when I was going through my logical engineering brain on what might come up. You're an angel communicator. Yeah. So let's get more information. And now Anki Yaya is going to talk. So for those of you that don't know Anki Yaya, his title is a healing master. You would call him a spirit guide. And he's another source in my reading space. The higher self, the energy field, and him. So he's trying to talk to me now. So let me see what he says. Okay. He's giving you some very practical advice, Tina. Pick an angel, any angel, and start to communicate with them. Now you can go online, right? Google archangels. Of course, there's tons of great archangel oracle decks, right? So let's see how first of all, say hello to a specific angel. Pick one. And I think if you go to the internet, this archangel's supposed to do that, this, that, right? So pick one, start, what I do is I'll print out a picture of one of them. Some artist has channeled what Archangel Michael is supposed to look like. My favorite is Hanel. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. It's Daniel, only with an H at the beginning. So I say Hanel. I don't know how other people pronounce it, but I don't know why I have such an affinity for her. So print out a picture of your favorite one, maybe put it on your refrigerator or hang it on your bathroom mirror. And then and this is Ankiya's suggestion, keep them in the forefront of your mind throughout the day. Maybe some fun things would be whichever angel you pick. We'll just say Michael. Archangel Michael, will you give me a sign today about something? And when I notice it, help me understand what it means. Now, this could be license plate frames. It could be a bird feather that all of a sudden is in your path, right? But Anki Yaya, because your higher self said that you really are an angel communicator, he thinks it's best that you start with one and see how much they can impact your experience here on earth. That's what I mean. Like, send me a sign or, things like that. Maybe you'll be driving. This happens to me all the time. I'm driving and I'm listening to usually NPR. I think only NPR. And I'm not thinking about anything. And then all of a sudden, through my stream of consciousness, the person on the radio will say something that I hear. And I'm like, oh, make a note of that. One of my best stories is I was driving home from the gym and I was in my neighborhood and I was thinking, okay, when I get home, I have to sift the boxes. I have to put in some laundry. And there's talk on the radio. All of a sudden, coming into my to-do list mentality, the person says, 85% of what humans think is about the future. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing it right now. So I tried to bring myself back into present time where I'm like, oh, look at that beautiful plant in the neighbor's yard. Oh, look, there's somebody walking a dog over there. I'm gonna be right here, right now. So that's an example of something busting through your own stream of consciousness to be a sign. Okay, so Tina, pick one and tell them, hey, make me aware of you throughout the day in some way and see what you get. And then maybe like if you spend a week with one asking them for that, then pick another one the next week, right? Take the picture off the fridge, put the next one up, and I'll bet what you will find is some are better at it than others to send you those signs. Now, of course, you can take a angel communication course if you want to. I'm sure there's tons on the internet. But this again would be clairaudience because angels don't have telepathic channels, but it's all throat chakra. Okay. So have fun with your angel communication. Okay, let's spin the wheel of fortune. Susan. Hi, Susan. Susan Ball, in case there's another Susan present. Okay, let me just get set up and let's see. Okay, you've got a guide that's supposed to help you be psychic. And the appearance that she takes is like a Tinkerbell, a fairy. Okay, so she's over here. For those of you that have never gotten a reading from me, or I split everything in half. Over here's the astral plane, over here's the earth plane. So I'm always pulled, of course, your higher self, your Akashic records, your contracts, and you're over here, okay, earth. So I noticed this Tinkerbell over here on the astral. So that might mean that she's waiting for you to acknowledge her to help you be more psychic, right? Because she's not over here where you are. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get her to move over. Let's see what she does. She's a clairvoyant. What would you propagator? Because when she flew over, she went right into your sixth chakra over there. So I was also having this conversation with a client today. So people seem to, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems to me that clairvoyance is such a mystical thing that people don't really know what it is. Like sometimes I'll be watching TV and somebody will say, oh, they're clairvoyant. And they're not. They're not using their sixth chakra. Okay, so have you ever heard of your mind's eye? Right, the ability that Homo sapiens have to create images in their head. Like if I say a gold star right now, you can imagine in your head a gold star, right? So that is the clairvoyant muscle. And again, you might think, why can we do that? Doesn't you think it's a strange thing that Homo sapiens can imagine things in their head? It's clairvoyance. So the difference is, in like when I'm reading you, I'm not creating the images in my head. I'm looking at them over there. So it's not me, it's you. So there's only two things you can see: color, that is an energy that has a name, and images, which are little bits of information. And when I say that, you might think, wow, that's so interesting. But think about it. Those are the only two things you can see in this reality: images and color. That's it. So, for you, Susan, one of the exercises I like to do, I'll give you a few. You can start with your mind's eye. Okay, let's say that gold star again. So, you don't even have to close your eyes usually to use your mind's eye. So, everybody imagine a gold star of some sort in your mind and then push it out in front of you. Push it out of your head and arm's length away. So, that's one little exercise. Now, imagine a pink kangaroo. Push it out and put it up in front of you. Now, I'll tell you one of the things that really shows you is, does it change? Was the image of the pink kangaroo different in your head than it is when you put it up? Now, if it is, there's actually something in your sixth chakra. We call it a filter. Because when you created it in your mind's eye, that's the center of your head, by the way, and then you push it out to look at it with this chakra, if it's different, you've got a filter in that chakra. So if that happened to any of you, it happened to me. That's why I brought it up. It's a gray kangaroo. Have your guides give you a healing on your sixth chakra. Okay, so that's one little exercise you can do. Imagine an image and push it out arm's length away and look at it. Now, another thing you can do, and I do this before every reading, to make sure I can see all of the colors, I'll just say, okay, show me red, show me orange, show me yellow, show me green, show me blue, show me purple. Did I say orange? I think I did, right? Just to see if I can perceive, and I am looking out, right? So those are some ways that you can exercise that clairvoyant muscle. Sometimes people say that if somebody's precognizant, in other words, they know the future, that they're clairvoyant. That's not clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is color and imagery. Okay. So anyway, let's get more into your clairvoyance now that I've done that dissertation. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to look in your chakra. Let's see. Okay, the front of your six chakras looks yellow to me. The energy inside of the chakra looks yellow. And when I see things that look yellow, it's very logical. Step one, step two, step three. Very mental. A lot of times it's wisdom, enlightenment, teaching, learning, things like that. So let me go deeper and see what else. Well, you could actually teach clairvoyance. You're a teacher. Yeah. And now I'm pulled over here to your higher self. Let's see what it says. Okay. If you decided to teach clairvoyance, learn clairvoyance, and then teach it, there's karma that you have with your students, and that's totally normal. I always like to tell people when I'm reading and I see something all the time, that's totally normal. Like my students, I have karma with them. That's why they're my students, right? So your higher self is interested in completing karma with these students by you teaching them. Yeah. So who else is going to talk to me? I'll go back to Anki Yaya, see if he has anything else to say about this. I don't think so. I think that's it. That you're clairvoyant. If you don't realize it, it's old past life stuff. But exercise that muscle. Exercise that muscle. And this is the experience of reading clairvoyantly. When somebody asks me a question, my eyes are closed. Right when they start focusing on a topic, I already see an image. Now, I don't know what it is until I hear them finish the question. I call it psychic jeopardy. I know the answer, but I don't know what the question is. So maybe that might help too. And it's also very, very hard to read yourself. I don't ever read myself. I can't even talk to my higher self. I can talk to your guys' higher selves all day, but we're not neutral. So I think, Susan, probably a way to play with this is to focus on a friend, but not anybody you really care about, because again, you won't be neutral, right? Like the neighbor, for example. Yeah, you know who they are, but you don't really care about them one way or the other, right? And just, ask your guides, show me an image related to them. And again, it could be a hamburger, right? It could be anything, but it will be something, right? Like, show me an image from, my great great grandmother who's not here anymore, and see what it is. Then show me an image for somebody I went to kindergarten with, my kindergarten teacher. How's that? My kindergarten teacher, show me an image, right? Just notice what you notice. I think that's another important thing with our psychicness. Um, there's no, okay, so this is the deal. There's never just one answer in psychic stuff. Now, in logical stuff, there's only one. And we're all trained that way. So sometimes it takes a while for us to just trust what we experience. Okay, so that's what I got for you, Susan. Thanks for being here. Okay, I'm going to spin the wheel of fortune. Michelle Chancellor. I think I'm close. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for popping in. I sure do appreciate it. Okay, let's see what's going to go down for you. Let me get myself readjusted. And by the way, what I'm doing is I'm matching Michelle specifically so that I know I'm not reading me. I know I'm not reading Susan anymore. I know I'm not reading Tina anymore. So that's one of the things I'm doing. Just, I guess Anki Yaya asked me to say that. So let me finish up. Okay. I'm going to your higher self. It's the first one. Okay, I don't understand what it's saying, so I'm going to ask Anki Yaya to translate. That's one great thing about having him. He speaks my language, even if your higher self doesn't. Okay, your process of noticing your psychic abilities is a slow one. I feel that when you first came in, like when you were born, that's, of course, as a baby, that's the only way you can sense this reality is through your chakras, right? Your rest of your body's not even developed, but your chakras are. So there was a lot, like everybody. So this is normal along the way, right? As our parents are doing their job of focusing our little child awareness on what's important, right? Do you have to go to the bathroom? Wash your hands, look both ways before you cross the street, instead of saying, did you see a fairy in the garden? Do you see a fairy right now? So, in that process of pushing your awareness into what would make you a successful adult, you close down your chakras. And my friend, that's the human condition, right? So, Anki Yaya said, go slow, go slow. Okay. I also feel that it might be a little bit like Tina's reading. To gain confidence that there really is a magical world in between what you see in this reality, to convince yourself of that, ask for signs. Ask for signs every single day. I want to notice something today that I know is my sign, and I want to know what it means. I say that to my students a lot. Don't you want to live in a magical world? I think, by the time I got trained, I was 44. So I had seen enough of this world, it like most people, it had beaten the crap out of me for 44 years. And to me, living in this world makes it so much more interesting and fun, right? That there are synchronicities, there's things that are running underneath, in between, and behind everything that's happening in the forefront, right? It just makes life so much more exciting. So go slow, ask for signs. Also, I feel that you might want to pick either an ascended master or an archangel to start communicating with. And so this is what it feels like, right? The reason I know that Anki Yaya is communicating with me is because I'm not that smart. I'm not. Like, some of the things that he motivates me to do, I would have never thought of them ever. So every time I have this wild hair thought, I'm like, thank you, Anki Yaya, because I would have come up with that. So just go slow, be persistent. Maybe good affirmations are, I want to live in the magical world, right? Where anything is possible. So, um, and I feel that it's not about a certain chakra for you. It's just about all of the chakras, probably what people would call intuition, no matter how you're getting it, right? So I hope that helps you. Okay, spinning the Wheel of Fortune. Cherish. Hello, Cherish. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're doing well. Okay. Okay, let's get to it. Let's see whatever your higher self wants to say about being psychic. This is an Egyptian life that your higher self is speaking about. It's about speaking to the dead. Yeah. And boy, I'll tell you, in Christianity, is that a no-no, right? And have you ever wondered why? Why would a religion that, I'm going to give it away by saying this. Why would a religion who says you have to do certain things to go to heaven or else you're going to go to hell when you die, why would they not want you to speak to the dead? Because there's not a heaven and a hell. And you'll find out if you talk to them, right? Now, the concept of heaven and hell come from the astral plane. Way up here, there's 12 layers. It's the real world. It's where our souls live forever, right? So way up here, it's a high frequency. Way down here, it's a low frequency. That's where heaven and hell come from. But I'll tell you this, that if your soul's frequency is down here, it doesn't feel like hell. It's like, this is my vibe, man. I remember one time I was getting my hair cut, and the barber was a ex-speed fiend. And I could tell because he was kind of like chewing his mouth. You know what I mean? So anybody could tell. You don't have to be psychic to tell. And so anyway, people tell me the most unusual things. So he started telling me about his friends who were still doing some kind of speed. And I said to them, I just came out of my mouth. I said, they like it. And he goes, they don't like it. You know, their life is terrible. And what I really meant was they have an affinity for it. Like that frequency is where they vibe, man. And if they didn't, if they're for some reason their frequency went up, they would just naturally stop. So anyway, back to speaking to the dead. I feel, and you know, when you think of it logically, that obviously with all the mummification and all that kind of stuff, the Egyptians had a very different relationship with the dead than we have, right? So you were actually a professional medium. You spoke to the dead. I mean, and people paid you, right? Now, the thing about that your higher self is most interested in isn't necessarily that form of psychic ability, but the way that you change people's lives. That's the thing it's interested in. Because I guess in that lifetime, you know, somebody's fussy about somebody passing away, and you would speak to the dead person and it would give solace to the living person, right? That's what your higher self is interested in. So however you use your psychic abilities now, right? That's what your higher self is interested in. That connection with the other person, helping them. Yeah. So that's what your higher self wanted you to know about your psychic abilities. And I hope that helps you, my friend. Okay, let's spin the wheel. Ellen Thys, Thys. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at pronouncing words. I don't think English was my last language because I'm a very slow reader of words. I read every single word. And when I asked Uncle Yaya about it, he said the last language you read was this way. So anyway, okay, Ellen, let's see. Hang on, let me get myself plugged in and matched to you. you also have a guide that helps with psychic communication. And I think it helps you in all manners psychically. Um, it knocks on your space up around the ear. So I'm assuming throat chakra. Let me introduce you to her. Oh, she's got a lot of names. Pick one, pick one. Naomi, thank you. She showed me all these names, all these names. I'm like, so what Naomi does, and I love that name. You know, one of the things about these guides and angels, like, they don't have names. If we were to really hear their name, it would be some kind of uh, audio frequency, a musical note, a hum, right? So she picked Naomi for a reason. So Google it. Google what the name Naomi means. Anyway, she's knocking. So, and she's laughing when I say that. So let me talk to her for a minute. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, I never thought about this. Okay, she's very optimistic. Okay, what she's trying to get your chakras to pick up is the highest and best. Yeah. So, like when you're on a downer, maybe you're feeling sorry for yourself, you're fussy at the world at large, ask Naomi to come in, and you might think of her as a filter. Well, she'll help all of that information that you're sensing with your chakras to go to an optimistic frequency. Yeah. So it is psychic because she's messing with your chakras and the information your chakras are getting. But it's really more about you sensing the environment, whether it's the environment in your house or in your country or in this galaxy, right? She's attempting to filter out, I guess I'd say, the lower vibrating stuff. So in some ways you might think of her as an ascension guide to get your frequency higher. Yeah. So if you're having what I call dark thoughts, right? I don't like when I have dark thoughts. Like I'll just think, something horrible. And I'm like, where did that come from? That's not me. I don't, you know. So if you're ever experiencing that, you're fussy, you're frustrated, ask Naomi to come in and kind of filter out what your chakras are picking up. Yeah. I never thought I'd see that as far as psychic sensing. But it does make sense when I think about it logically. It's Naomi. Yeah. Okay. Spin the wheel of fortune. Sue Pung, P-U-N-G. Is that close, Sue? Okay. Let me get reshifted here. Have you noticed I have crystals in my hands? You probably noticed. All of a sudden, I just became self-conscious that I pick up my crystals. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to your higher self. Let's see what it says. Your higher self is funny. It's like, oh, girlfriend, just confess that you're psychic. That's what it said. It called you girlfriend, too. Okay, so let me look at your energy field. I'm going to say your dominant psychic chakra is your sixth chakra. Yeah. Now, again, I don't want to harp on the same thing, but the images that we see are metaphors for things. Okay, so again, if you saw a hamburger, well, what does the hamburger mean? Right? So that's kind of the quantum leap that my clairvoyant students do. You can see images and colors all the time, but what do they mean? Right. So anyway, girlfriend, confess you're psychic. All right. And the dominant chakra is the sixth. I might start with color. As I mentioned earlier, if you were here, and those that have just got here, that colors are energy that have names. Let's say I see a bunch of yellow. Well, I just ask yellow, what do you mean? And it'll communicate back to me. It could be depression. It could be hunger. It could be money, right? And it can always change. There's nothing to memorize. So, so I think, Sue, starting with color. Now, one of the ways you can really contrive it, if you're figuring out, well, how do I see color? Super easy. Close your eyes, imagine out in front of you a clear bubble, and start like this. Ask your guides and angels, hey, what's a healing color for me right now? And watch the bubble. It'll fill with a color or colors. And I just did this in one of my live workshops. It was super fun. Once you see, okay, I need a healing on ABC, guides and angels, I'm going to put a bubble out there and I want you to put energy in it that's going to give me that ABC healing. And then you'll see colors, maybe pink polka dot, something will fill the bubble. And then take the bubble, crack it on your head like an egg, and let that energy come right into you. That's the healing. So start with energy, colors. Okay, have fun with it. Live in the magical world. Maybe you might even say, hey, my friend's got such and such issue. What would heal them? Put the bubble up, fills with color, take it wherever they are, crack it on their head, dump it into their field. Okay, super fun. I hope that helps you. Okay, let's see. Okay, Pamela Neal. Hi. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me get situated here. Okay, I'm going to your energy field. This is the heart chakra, my friend. The heart chakra. So the heart chakra, of course, it's right here. This is the relationship chakra. So I think what your energy field is trying to tell us is that you read with your heart. You're probably really good, not for yourself, I'll qualify that, at reading relationships between people, between baseball teams, right? Sensing it through the heart. And then however you get the information. Like, let's say your friend starts dating someone and you just get this intuition that this is not going to work out well. It's your heart chakra. It's your heart chakra stimulating the rest of your energy field. But the heart chakra is all about relationships. And again, the way that you sense it is you have an overall intuitive perception of things. For some reason, pets came into my mind, right? And I just have to say, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm sure you have on whatever. Have you seen where there's an audience of people and the animal shelter brings out a dog and the dog picks their owner? Oh my gosh, I cry through the whole thing. The people are so excited when the dog picks them. The reason I flashed on that, Pamela, is because you would be really good at picking animals for people. Yep. Now, I do think there's a flip side to that as I pull at this thread. I think you can assess relationships. And when you do, I think you can call on your guides and angels to heal those relationships. So again, maybe you can't quite put it into words, but you just are a little bit uneasy about, I don't know, you're sitting in a coffee shop and two people walk in and you're just kind of like, something between those two, right? You don't have to put your finger on it. You don't have to do a full diagnosis on it. Just go, guides and angels, go heal their relationship. I didn't think I'd read that either. So, you know what? You'd be a good family counselor. Yeah, something like that. So I hope that helps you. Thanks for being here. Okay. Okay, this is, oh my goodness. Who is Mordecai Ford? Something like that. Okay. Who is? I'll just put who is on my list. I don't understand it, but I find amusement in it. Okay, hang on. Time to get down to brass tacks here. Let's see. Okay, I'm pulled in both ways, both your energy field and your higher self. It's like, and both are pulling at me. I'm gonna go to your energy field first. Let's see. Okay, this is kinesthetic, and we didn't talk about that. It's your aura. It's your aura that senses things. Now, in this teaching, there's 7 layers of the aura, and each layer is projected out by the chakras. So the first chakra we're sitting on creates a little bubble of energy closest to our body. The second chakra near the belly button is the next one out. The solar plexus is the next one, the heart, the next one, the throat, the next one, the sixth, the next one. And finally, the crown chakra creates the outermost layer. So it's still psychic because your aura is created by the chakras. But this would be like knowing when somebody's looking at you. If you ever played sports, this would be a total advantage to playing sports, especially sports where you have to gauge where other people are, like hockey, basketball, soccer. You just know somebody's coming up around the other side of you. You can just kinesthetically sense it. Yeah. So your higher self is saying this does come from another life, and you were a judge. You would, in whatever the community was, you would judge people. And I think one of the ways you did it is you would expand your aura until it was in their aura. And then you could sense, like, are they telling the truth? What are they lying about? Are they basically an upright person, or are they corrupt on some level? So it's your aura. So I remember when I was first getting trained, right? And I was all about it. Me and Anki, yeah, we're going to conquer the world, right? And the gym that I was going to at the time had an elevator. And of course, I'm not going to walk the steps to the gym. Who would do that, right? I took the elevator. So I was so about my energy field. I was just really getting to know like where I ended and other people began. So I was in the elevator and I was feeling fine. The door opens and somebody else comes in. And I instantly feel a shift in my energy, in my aura. So the other person left. And I said to Anki Yaya, I said, did their energy get in my aura? Was that why I felt such a shift? And he said, no. What you did is you collapsed your aura down in on yourself so that you wouldn't have an energetic merging with them. You created your own claustrophobia. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I would think that usually our aura is arm's width, right? But of course it ebbs and flows. What I might do, is I might play with my aura. Like, say you're sitting in a room by yourself and go, okay, where's the outer layer of my aura? And just sense it. Like I said, it's about arm's length. And then get as big as the room. Go, wait a second, let me just expand. And then let me contract. And then let me expand. And then get as big as the whole house. And then come back to your normal. And then just play with it, right? Because if you became more aware of your aura, you would become more aware of the people around you. You could use it to sense what they're feeling, yeah. I didn't expect that to come up tonight either. So I would say you're kinesthetically psychic. You're using your aura to sense things. So play with it. Yeah. Okay, let me spin the wheel of fortune. Amy Bowers. All right. Okay, hang on. Let me get. It's a guide. So let me speak to the guide. Okay, this is an ascended master. I think it's Adama. Adam with an A on the end. Now, if you want to Google him, put in Adama of Telos, Telos. It's a place, and you can read about it. I won't waste the time to tell you. But first of all, he really has an affinity for you. He loves you. He respects you. Let me talk to him some more. He protects you psychically. Yeah. He doesn't let things get sensed by your chakras that would throw you off, lower your frequency, make you feel the cup is half empty. So he's psychic protection. Let me talk to your higher self because I have a feeling this is related to a past life. Let's see. Yeah, you were pretty much an open channel in a past life. An open channel is someone who allows other beings into their space. Now, it sounds horrific, but we all do it. We all do it to some degree or another. Anytime a guide or an angel comes in, penetrates your aura, that's channeling. That's what it's called. So, Adama is kind of creating an outer shell around you. So it does diminish your psychic sensing, but it's because of that lifetime where you were an open channel. So, double-edged sword. I guess if you wanted to receive some psychic stuff, ask Adama, look, just filter out the stuff that's not beneficial to me and let through what would be beneficial. So I got a story about that. So I told Anki Yaya we were going to go see some ghosts. So here in San Diego, there's the Whaley House. I went there. Up in Long Beach, I'm in San Diego. Up in Long Beach, there's the Queen Mary, which is a ship that's super duper haunted, and never saw anything, didn't experience it. And I'm open, and I'm like, nothing. And so I said to Anki Yaya, I said, "What's up, man? I'm supposed to be a psychic." And he goes, "Well, you're such a chicken that if you did encounter anything, you'd go right back to engineering." So he's right on the outside of my aura, just like Adama is for you, Amy, keeping keeping whatever would freak you out on the outside of your awareness. So you could walk through a graveyard on Halloween at the stroke of midnight and feel fantastic. Yeah, so it is double-edged sword. Right. If you do want some things to come in, you'll have to say, hey, filter out what would scare me and let me have some psychic. Not that you don't, but he is filtering it out. Yeah. Well, my friends, that's all the time we have. I'm so sorry I didn't get to read more, but thank you for everybody. Hopefully, I said something that you might find beneficial. Maybe you'll play some of the games that were mentioned for other people. I guess all in all, the thing I might end on is live in the magical world. Yeah. Until next month, we'll call it a healing. Bye, everybody. Thanks again.